Hello, Kenpo guys. Hopefully everybody's doing good out there. I want to first of all thank you guys, all my followers in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I don't know where else we're at, but wherever you guys started subscribing, thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. Today's technique, sleeper. A technique that is a little bit of a controversial technique. Especially in the Kenpo world. There's been a lot of talks about this technique in the past, and most recently I've seen some actual discussions about it. Now, I'm going to attempt to try to explain this technique to you guys out there the way I learned it and the way I have actually been working this technique. I personally don't believe that any of your techniques in the Kenpo curriculum should be considered like useless or non-effective. And people start getting into those type of conversations, and it's ridiculous, really, to be honest with you, because if there is a technique that you maybe don't understand, don't say it doesn't work. It's because you don't understand it. Because you don't know what you're doing, because you haven't taken the time to understand it, or maybe it wasn't taught to you correctly. And then it becomes your responsibility. Even though if it wasn't taught to you correctly, it becomes your responsibility to make sure you spend time with it and understand it. When you start learning techniques, you learn techniques at a stationary stance. You want to learn the technique first. You want to understand the moves. Stationary, easy. Just get all the moves. Then later on, once you're comfortable with it, you should put your techniques under pressure. At the studio, with your friends, with your colleagues, you want to put it under pressure. Different scenarios. Instead of a step-through right punch, how about a shuffle right? How about a double jab with a right cross or a right hook? Whatever it is, you want to start working your techniques in different scenarios under pressure. That's when you start understanding the technique and what part of the techniques actually do work for you. That being said, let's get right into it. So again, stationary base first. So what we're dealing with is a step-through right punch. If I'm facing my opponent, if I'm facing 12 o'clock, I'm going to step towards 10, 10, 30. I don't want to step less than that because then I'm going to be forced to use my close range weapons. Kenpo guys out there, we're talking in a scenario like this when we step more towards 11 o'clock, we're talking about flashing wings. We have to use our close range weapons, we have to use our elbows. On this one, we're going to step more towards 10, 10, 30. As I step in, on the natural stance, my left hand, I like to do what we call a riding block. That riding block is going to meet my right reach hand. At the same time, they're both going to meet. My opponent is in the center of both, right? So they're going to meet. And I'm going to use that measure of gravity, and I'm going to step down. I'm going to actually sink into my strike when I do it. I'm sinking right into my strike, and I'm using that rotational force at the same time into my forward ball. So from my neutral stance, as I parry, I'm going to come into a forward ball. I'm going to rotate. I'm actually going to use torque. And I'm going to sink into my strike at the same time. My body, my hips are going to be under my strike. Here it comes. Right there. Now, from here, I like to do what I call a shoulder bump. And I'm going to show that in the bottom a little bit. So I want to raise my opponent's shoulder up a little bit. As I do that, I'm going to step drag a little bit into my opponent. So I'm going to step drag as I do that. So here we go. One more time. Stepping in. One. Sink on it. Now from here, I'm going to do a little bit of shoulder bump, step drag. My hands are going to come together. So I'm going to actually, my left hand is going to be, my sword hand is going to be facing up. My left hand is going to actually come on top of my sword hand this way. I'm going to roll my hands, and at the same time, that's going to force my elbows to come together behind my opponent and in front of my opponent. At the same time, I'm going to sink my head in. I'm going to do a cast stance behind my opponent, and then I'm going to step into a side horse, deep into a side horse, and I'm going to move my opponent's body this way. Almost like moving a steering wheel, like so. From here, my left hand is going to sneak in. I'm going to go to my opponent's face. I'm going to step back with my supporting leg. I'm going to guide him down. I'm going to drop into a wide kneel, punch. From my wide kneel, I'm going to transition back to another wide kneel as I step drag back into the kidney. I'm going to springboard up. I'm going to go in between my opponent's leg with a kick right into the groin. I'm going to remove myself from there. I'm going to do another wide kneel to my opponent's kidney. At the same time, I'm going to push into my opponent's head down to the ground. And now I'm going to spring off my opponent, and I'm going to do a 360 kick and land with my right foot on my opponent's face and cross out, and that's the end of the technique. That's the technique with the extension. Now let's talk about this whole thing. That's the way it's taught. That jump in the air 360 kick. Yes, I know what you're going to say. Why would you do all that? It's never going to work. I actually agree with the fact that I wouldn't do that if I were to be in that situation. There's other reasons why I may do a scenario to that kick, but not that particular one. Especially when you're under pressure on the streets, when chaos is happening, when you get tunnel vision, when a lot of the stuff is happening. What about if the floor is wet? What if it's raining? What if you're wearing the wrong type of shoes? And you do that in the air, you're not in balance with your body. You're not in control of your body really when you're doing that. You might land wrong. You might hurt your knee. You might slip down to the ground. Maybe he has a frame when you hit the deck. He's going to come after you. You never know. So I wouldn't do that. Now, does it work? I don't know. I actually going to share a story with you guys. This is something that was told to me long time ago. There was a student that actually had learned the extension of slicker. He was a bouncer at a nightclub. He was a young guy in his 20s. There was a situation at the nightclub where, there was a guy that was trying to come in, they had a discussion, and that turned into, a fight. They started, fighting. The guy that was trying to get into the nightclub actually hit the ground, he fell down, and the bouncer, the Kenpo student, actually, when the guy hit the ground, jumped up in the air and did a 360 kick and landed into the guy's back of the neck. From what I know, is there were witnesses, and when the police came and they took the report down, to make a story short, this young man ended up going into prison. He had to do time in there. The person that he did the kick on the back of the neck ended up in a wheelchair. So, did it work? Yes. Did he have to do that? No, he didn't have to do that. So what I'm trying to say here is that don't discard the kick. Don't discard that 360 kick in the air. I know it's a little bit flashy, it's for fun, but don't discard everything you hear about. Because it doesn't work for you, it doesn't mean it's not going to work for somebody else. And I feel the same way. It doesn't work for me. So enough talk, and let's get right into the technique. Sebastian, come and join us real quick. Now, thank you. All right, so I'm going to have Sebastian's back towards the camera in an angle a little bit, and I'm going to show you how it's been taught, how I actually learned it at one point, and then the adjustments that I make after that. Okay, so right in this angle right here, Sebastian, actually. So go ahead and let's see if we're framed here. It's a little tough. So right there is good. So what even more of an angle? There you go, right there. Go ahead and step through with your right punch. So I'm not gonna, you won't be able to see this right now, so I'm gonna show this in the next set. So right here, I just want to show the footwork in the back. So when I'm here, when I got Sebastian back here, and I get here, I've seen scenarios where people just step down and they step back and they try to do that judo throw. I've seen the stomp to the back of the calf muscle, this to control that, and then step back and throw the guy. I've seen also where they just do kind of like tripping arrows, where they come here and they actually do that throw right there. I've seen all those scenarios. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't work. The problem that I have with that is that I haven't applied any of my Kenpo principles. Remember, we gotta control our opponent's height, width, and depth. And I really haven't controlled any of that. You might argue that I'm controlling his height a little bit when I did that reach hand to the neck. And when I sink into it, you might argue that I'm controlling their height. Not really controlling the depth or the width yet. And if you look at Sebastian and I right here, when he's stepping forward, and I'm behind him, we actually are a mirror of each other. Yes, my hand is here, is on the outside of his body, and his other hand is actually on the inside of my body here, this side. So basically, we are a mirror of each other. Sebastian could simply just drop his body weight on his shoulder, and now he's going to sink me down. Now he can actually bump me back. So now, we're in that situation going back and forth. So that's why I don't like to spend too much time in there. Now, the name of the technique is called sleeper. So what happens is that people rely on this shot here to the neck, and then rely on this lock here until the guy goes to sleep. You're gonna argue, I hear like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 11 seconds, all that stuff. I don't know what the actual number is, and I don't care. People are built differently. He can be very strong. I can be very weak on the way I grab them. I could miss the target. You know, a lot could happen. I'm not gonna rely on that. I think the name sleeper should not be on the base technique, to be honest with you. It should be on the extension. I'll explain why when we get there. So I'm not gonna stay there and wait for this guy to go to sleep so I can then take him down to the ground. Now that is a bit of a fantasy, you know, a little bit of fantasy if you think of it that way. So you need to actually use your mind, use your intelligence, and don't be a parrot and repeat what you hear. Try to make things work for you and try to understand them. Try to make things be real. Learn the base technique first, but then when you put it under pressure, you're going to realize that these things may not work the way you were told. Okay? Let's go to this angle real quick, Sebastian. Now let's talk about the wrist hand. So, we want to be in front, back to the right. Okay, as Sebastian steps in, you're not talking from straight up. So as Sebastian steps in, I'm going to parry with his hand here, away from me. I'm using this parry, I'm in a natural stance. Now my hand comes up, and I'm going to hit the side of the neck right here. I'm going to use that torque, and I'm going to sink on it. Now, hopefully I get the right spot. I don't know. I don't know if I did or didn't. I have no idea. So I'm going to hit right here. Now, from here, my arm is going to shoulder bump. I like to shoulder bump as I step drag. Shoulder bump and step drag at the same time. I'm here, shoulder bump, and step drag at the same time to get his arm to go up a little bit. Okay? Let's go to this angle real quick so I can show the next section. So as he comes in, I parry this way. One more time. Well, this way so we frame. As he comes in, I parry this way. My wrist hand comes over the top into my forward hold. I shoulder bump as I step drag. Now I'm taking his space a little bit. My left hand is going to trace his back so I can get right into my right hand that is inside of his neck right here. Okay, we're going to show it now from the back angle. Your back towards the camera. Move a little bit this way. That's good. There, step in. Right here, I parry my right hand. Boom, right there. Now, from here, my forward ball. Shoulder bump, step drag. My left hand is on his back. I just contour, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my hand here. I'm going to grab my sore hand up here. I'm going to lock it. I'm going to torque this way, roll this way. At the same time, I'm going to sink my elbows down. I'm going to get very tight to the body, and I'm going to dig my head right behind here with him. Now, here's the thing. He's not going to go to sleep here. He's going to go to sleep here. I don't know, and I really don't care. I'm not going to wait for that. From here, I'm going to step behind him into a cast stance. From here, I'm going to step to a side horse. I'm going to bump his hip to the side, and I'm going to torque it down. I'm going to stay tight with him. Now I'm controlling his height and his depth and his width, all of it at the same time. My left hand that is here is going to trace. I'm going to hold it here so he doesn't follow me. Now, you're going to argue, yeah, I'm going to squeeze here, he's going to go to sleep. Again, I don't know and I don't care. I don't want to find out. I don't want to wait. My left hand is going to stick right on his face. I'm going to step back with my left leg. He's going to fall in with my right leg. I'm going to guide him down. I'm going to use this leg that I guide him down with as my wide knee to control him. With my left hand, I'm controlling his shoulder. Pushing down here on him. Punch to the face. Okay? Let's try that one more time. I show it now with my back towards the camera in case you need to see a different angle. Okay? He steps in, parry this way. One more time. Parry, strike. I sink into it. I strike, I sail, I sink with my forward hold. Shoulder bump, step drag. Get behind, sore hand. Roll my hand, elbows in. Bring it towards me, dig my head in. Cast stance behind him, very close to his hip. I'm going to bump him with my horse stance. as I maneuver him and I arch his back. There it is. Control him there, nice and tight. My left hand is going to stick in front of his face. Step back with my left leg, guide him down. He's just going to contour my leg. He's actually going to go down. My leg's going to help get him down. I'm going to use my wide knee on him to control him. My left hand is on his shoulder. Punch. All right, come on up, Sebastian. Okay, now come to this angle real quick. Now, let's talk a little bit about the extension. And let's talk about, I know we're supposed to have him on his belly, right? So we can start working the extension. Let's figure out how we can get there, and if we can even get there in different scenarios to get into that area, okay? So one of them actually, come to this angle, Sebastian, again, your back towards the screen. So as Sebastian comes in, I'm here and I hit, I shove the pump, a step drag, I'm controlling this, I'm stepping here, I'm going here, he's fighting for the grip. His hands, both hands are fighting me. They're both hands, go ahead, fight both of them. They're both fighting me here, right? He's trying to get away. Chaos is happening right here. Chaos. If that happens, I can reach his wrist and I can actually pull on it. Now, instead of going to his face like I did with my left hand, he's fighting for the grip. He's fighting here to try to get away with it. Chaos is happening here, nice and tight. I control it. I step back, and now I pull on his arm. I'm going to be gentle here with Sebastian. Now he's going to trace on my right leg, and as he's turning, I stop him right there. And I'm pulling hard on the hand, and at the same time, I'm hitting the back of the neck. There we go, right there. I switch over to this side. Land on his kidney. All my body weight into the kidney. The extension says that I'm supposed to go right in between his legs. As I go into the kidney, I jump up and I hit the groin right here with my right foot. I remove myself from here and I drop into the kidney one more time. My wide knee, I drop right into the kidney from the groin to the balls. We start into the groin. You can edit that. As I come out, I drop and hit his head down to the ground. We're assuming that when we hit the kidney, the pressure brings his head up. So I'm just going to meet him back into the concrete. As I land here, he goes back into the concrete. I hit him down into the concrete. I'm going to spring off of his kidney up in the air and land with my right foot on his head. Come on, Sebastian. Now, all right, let's go back again. So we're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, shoulder bump. I'm here, drop, bump. Now, when I'm here, again, I may have the arm, I may not. He may hug me. And as I step back here, this was dangerous about this technique. As I step back, and he's not asleep, and he's going down to the ground, he's actually throwing me over. He might be doing a judo throw down there. We don't know. That could happen. When you put this stuff under pressure, like I did with my students this morning, we put it under pressure, all kinds of scenarios come up. All kinds of scenarios come up. But you have to stick to the basic of the technique, to the idea, to understand it. Once you do it a bunch of times stationary, you get familiar with the technique. You can start doing these things. So what if that happens? Ready? 1, 2, 3. He's already hugging my arm. He knows, and now he's going to go for that takedown. Now here, the key is my left hand. When my left hand comes here, and I step back, I pull my arms out of the way. I pull my arms out of the way. I push, pull. Come back. You okay? Yeah. All right, let's do that one more time. I'm here. 1, 2, boom. He's already hugging. He knows what's going on. He's hugging. Maybe he's doing it out of just natural reaction. Natural reaction. That's fine. I'm here. My hand goes here. My hand goes here to the head. I step back. I guide. I use his body weight to get him away from that grab. I push him down. Here's my control again. And I'm back again. All right, stay right there for a second, Sebastian. Now, there's many ways that you can have this guy go on his stomach. We're going to go with the idea that he's going to go on the stomach. I know what you keyboard words are going to say out there. Well, he's already there. Why don't you just finish there? Why don't you jump into armbar or whatever? The idea is trying to understand how we can position him on his stomach. We're just going here through the ideas on how to maneuver the body a little bit, okay? So if it's there, there's many ways you can get into the next scenario. One of them, with my wide knee, instead of, I can go here and I can push down on his shoulder, or I can step drag and actually use my wide knee to start controlling him and putting pressure and start turning him over. It's gonna be pain compliant. So right here, I can do that. I can step, I can use my wide knee and control down into it, or another one that I can do, I can step here, punch to the face. I'm not gonna mess around with grabbing that arm. So once you hit to the face, now I can step and I can start controlling my opponent by having him face down. That's another way that we can get in there. Another one, real simple. I'm here controlling. He's not moving. I can step up a little bit, kick. I can kick him down into the ground if I wanted to. You can stomp. Another one, I'm here. Boom, he's not moving. I can come up, boom, I can stomp down into his back as well and try to get him to be compliant at the same time. So there's many ways that you can get into it. Don't get caught up into just one phase. You can only do it one way, and that's it. And because you can only do it one way, suddenly the technique doesn't work. Get out of that. Someone else listen. Now, the way I teach it to my students, the extension, the base technique, all that stuff. Here it is. We're going to do different angles for you guys. First, we're going to do this angle from the back. Okay? Right there, we're just going to make sure we're in frame. I know we'll be getting out of frame for you guys a little bit. I'm sorry. Just gauge you the distance. It's not that easy when I get moving and talking. Okay, so he steps in with a right punch. I parry, boom, pop, I'm here. Now, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. Notice that I'm hitting, and I'm contracting everything at the same time. Boom, and I'm talking at the same time. Now, from here, shoulder bump. I'm still there. See, that helps. I'm here. I lock everything hard. This is me. This is just like you really tired really hard. I'm here. Everything is tight. My head is in there. I don't waste time here. This should be one move. I should be here. Pop, boom, pop. I should be here right away. Right away. I don't want to waste time. From here, I got to move to the next phase right away. Maybe I put the fingers in his eyes. I don't care. I step back. Guide him down. Boom, right there. He fell in that direction. That's fine. Now from here, I'm going to step into his kidney. With my left leg, I'm going to drop my wide knee. Kidney or lower back. Boom! Let's say his groin is not available. That's fine. I jump up and I kick his lower back. Boom! Right there. I can kick the lower back if I wanted to. Here, or I can stab the lower back too. You can kick this way, kick this way. From here, I just drop my foot down and I drop my body weight into his kidney or lower back one more time. And at the same time, my heel palm is going down to the back of his neck or his head. Right here. Instead of doing that 360 or moving my body away from Sebastian, disconnecting from the body and giving him my back and hope that this works, I'm going to stay right here. As I go to the back of the neck, boom, come up to the back of the neck. Let's do it one more time from a different angle. Let's go from this angle now. So that's the way I like to do my extension instead of that 360. I teach it to my students. I teach them the value of it. There are some scenarios, again, where you can do it. I give you an example at the beginning of a conversation where we have somebody that, right or wrong, you be the judge of that. I'm not going to get into that. He did it, and whatever happened, happened, okay? So I can't say that it doesn't work. I can't say that. And I'm not going to say also that it does work. I'm not going to get into that, okay? So, let's go from this angle here. He comes in. Boom, boom, shoulder bump. I'm here. Now from here, I'm just going to move really fast. Boom, right there. Boom, ha, right there. This happens quick. I'm not going to wait for him to sleep. Where is he going to sleep? On the last kick. Or maybe when I hit him in the back of the neck. I don't know. That's where it gets the name, for me, sleeper. Right there. I'm not going to way up here. Right there. Boom, ha, I drop into the back now with my other wide knee. If the groins are open, that's fine. I go from the top, boom, right into his groin. I slay around, like I move around the groin, drop, boom, right here. From here, I go back here. I drop here, up, into the back of the neck. Up, into the back of the neck. Here is where it gets the name sleeper for me. Go from another angle. Let's go from this side right here now. Same thing. Step same. 1, 2. Lock it. Shoulder bump. Step drag. 1, 2. Dive. Punch. Here. Groin is available. Groin is available. Groin is not available. That's fine. Back. Kicking. Step. Back on the neck. And you're up. Coming up slow. Let's go from this angle now. Back up a little bit. We're still in frame, hopefully. He steps in. Boom, pump, right there. Lock it, shoulder bump, step drag. Everything's in. Step. Control. Control. Boom, right there. Drop. 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 Kick. Thank you so much. Coming up. So hopefully that's making sense. We're working the same principles of the technique, same idea, but I'm not turning my back towards my opponent. I'm not doing a crazy 360 kick in the air. Let's face it, bad knees, age, you're not as flexible as you used to be in your 20s, or 19 or 18s. 51 years old. I am not jumping the same way I used to jump before. I cannot do the same things I used to do before. I have to face life. It's what happens. I have to just deal with it and adjust. You should be able to adjust your techniques as well. No difference. What else can we, anything else you think we can talk about this technique here? Any other scenarios I want to come up today during class? I know one of my students today, he said, Sensei, you know, I'm not hitting. My partner is not topping. Well, yeah, you know, and then we have some students that the guys were topping right away. You know, it happens. So that's why I like to just have the technique flow, have the technique move. You should, if you don't stop on your other techniques and you don't have a Kodak moment for a picture, why do you need to have a Kodak moment for sleep? It makes no sense, you know? Maybe you didn't get it. Maybe it's not there. And you're gonna stay there for those 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 11 seconds. Whatever seconds they're supposed to be, a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. You're gonna turn into a BJJ match where you're gonna be there doing this for 2 hours. I mean, how long are you gonna be holding it there? Let's be realistic. So you don't wanna do that. You don't wanna do that. Get the concept. I know what you're gonna say. It's supposed to be a control technique. Really? Control technique? We're doing Kenpo here, guys. We're doing Kenpo. I don't think this is a control technique when the guy is actually stepping in with a right punch. As a threat, he's trying to hurt me. You know? So I treat it just like any of my techniques. Just like any of my techniques. You have to have bad intent in every move. Your parry shouldn't be light. It should have bad intent into it. It should be bad intent. Your strike, your moves, the way you bump the guy, everything. You should actually be moving on the body hard, and you should be making contact and hurting every single move on your opponent. So again, I don't think that you should get caught up into the idea that you have to hold the guy there until he goes to sleep. He goes to sleep at the end of the technique on your extension. That's when he goes to sleep. I believe that that's why the reason we do the extension. Because if the guy fell asleep up here, isn't that overkill? So I'd rather you guys be overskilled than overkill. So overskill meaning that, okay, that didn't work. He didn't go to sleep. I took him out. Am I gonna let him back up? I'm gonna allow him to come back on his feet? Are we gonna start all over again? Are we gonna get into the bare knuckle fight? Are we gonna do that? Or do I rather just take the guy down to the ground and control him there? Keep him there. Finish him there. Have him go to sleep there. Not up here, because it's not guaranteed. So that's why the extensions get created. I think the extensions usually are the what if. What if he didn't go to sleep? Do you let him back up? See, a lot of people argue about these extensions out there. They say, well, extensions don't work. That's because, like I said at the beginning of my conversation, you did not understand them, or they were not explained to you correctly, and you didn't try to investigate and work your techniques. You're too lazy. Lazy. Listen to what I'm saying. You are lazy because you didn't put in the time to understand it yourself. Don't blame somebody else. Don't blame your instructors. Don't blame the guys from the past. It's your fault. Make it work. Understand the reasons behind it. Another reason why some of you don't like the extensions is because they were never taught to you. Because your instructor maybe didn't know them. Or maybe you quit too early. And you're too proud, way too darn proud, to go back and learn. Or have somebody teach it to you because you're too good. You know, you got a belt with a lot of red on it. You're good. You got a black belt. You're awesome. You're not going to go back and put a white belt and learn again, or a brown belt. Get off your ego. Be humble. Get out there and learn the extensions. You talk about them this way because you never learned it. So what else are you going to say? Oh, they don't work. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you know the truth. You're lying. You're a punk. Yes, I'm calling you out. Whoever it is, I'm here. Talk to me. You're a punk. So let's go through this technique one more time. And give me your input. I mean, I've seen some amazing sleeper techniques out there. I've seen some really cool extensions up there. You know, there's some good stuff up there. Now, I would love to talk to you. Let's help each other. That's what we need to do. I don't mind putting on my white belt and learning from you as well. I don't mind doing that at all. All right? Here we go. So you guys one more time. You go. Thank you guys. I hope this was helpful. Again, thank you for subscribing and thank you for following us online. Love you guys.